Got a review for you here on the channel today. We're going to be checking out the CD Archery WF25 riser here. It's a Barebow specific riser, and I've already got it in my hand here, so I'm going to show you close-up views of the actual riser, talk to you about what I think about it, set it up, tune it, and go outside and shoot it, and give you my honest feedback about this riser. So huge thanks to Brian for hooking me up with this WF25 from CD Archery that he's letting me borrow for the sake of a review on the channel. It is used lightly, so it's not coming straight out of the box, and I definitely have checked these risers out before, but I want to do a review on the channel before I send it back to him and let him set it up and shoot it again. So I have no way to really comment about the stock grip because he supplied it to me with this Archery Barebow grip that I made. And RS over at Archery modified that original to fit all sorts of other bows, and Brian ordered one to put it on his CD. And if you are interested in any of the gear that I am featuring on this channel, I will have links down in the description below. Those are affiliate links, and it genuinely helps this channel out if you click those links before you shop there. And I also have a few discount codes down in the description, including for Archery. If you use code Kaminski at checkout, you'll get 10% off of any of their gear. So first impressions about this riser is it's quite a beast. It's quite a boat anchor. I do have the biggest weight that you can slide into the bottom of the riser here in the actual bow. It's got a really nice kind of recessed chamfer or recessed slot, I guess, machined into it, so you can slide it left and right to affect the balance of the bow itself. And with kind of just that in it, it already sits pretty neutral, if not slightly angled forward. Obviously the limbs aren't on it, but just to have that kind of natural balance is surprising and is nice to see. Obviously this thing was made for barebow shooters specifically, with these huge, massive, solid aluminum chunks in the front to get that weight forward, to kind of get that weight balance that we would like to see kind of as naturally as possible. There is a sight block that you can bolt onto it to shoot it as a recurve, or maybe to tune your bow up with a sight on it before going full barebow with it, which is not a terrible idea. The actual finish on the riser, it looks pretty good. It looks like, I don't know what this is, shot peen anodized maybe? Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, shot peen anodized or something like that. And overall, I don't see a ton of tooling marks in the bow, so I think they tumble it for quite a considerable amount of time before they finish it, which is nice. I see, some adjustment blocks in the bottom. Very standard, simple, and easy, which I like to see. Now, I did find one flaw, per se, in the riser. Wasn't a big deal, and it's not a terrible thing itself. It's just when they fixture it for the first op and the second op, or vice versa. Whichever way they do it, you can see that the tooling pathways don't quite line up perfectly. If you look at the surface, I'm going to try to get it in view. It's down in here. It's actually on this far side over here. So this side, the sight window side, is the error side. So you see that line there? From this side, there is no line, because that was possibly the first op, and then this side was finished after the fact. So you can see that line clearly defined there. That's just showing me that, the tool pathways weren't quite lined up for that finish cut there. Probably a really difficult cut to actually make, to not have any errors. And you can see it here as well on the bottom. Same kind of thing. It's much less pronounced though on that bottom compared to the top. So that's really the only flaw that I'm actually seeing. The only other issue that I really have with this bow is there's no serial number anywhere on the bow. So what happens if there's some sort of failure, some sort of problem, and you go to the company and say, hey, I notice there's actually a problem here, there's a defect, or you send it to them after asking them questions and they're like, yeah, this is actually a defective riser. There's no way for them to track when it was made, who made it, what machine it was on. They don't have any idea. Without a serial number, there's no way to track that. And for me, I think that's a pretty big problem in my opinion, because there's really no way for them to know what happened and why. Yes, there shouldn't be issues because it's a CNC program, but everybody makes mistakes and stuff happens. So it'd be nice to see that there would be some way to track some sort of error. Now, there is only 2 bushings right here, front and back, main stabilizer bushing and a rear bushing that you can thread stuff into using standard 5/16 24 bolts. That would be a standard Barebow weight. So those are the only 2 spots. The riser is heavy to begin with, so you're probably not going to be adding a whole lot of weight anyway. Now, full disclosure, I have had this bow in my hands and I have aligned it and sent it up before for Brian. And I noticed a really big problem, and it was with the tiller bolts, because he was having issues aligning his bow and keeping it aligned. And I don't remember how I found this out, but I will include a clip so you can actually see what's happening. I found that the tiller bolts were bent, and they were bent at the threads. And I could find it out because I was spinning the tiller bolt in and out with a Allen wrench like this, and I could see that it was wobbling. Now, I looked at the manual, looked at the website rather, on this riser, and they spec that you can run the tiller bolts out a maximum amount of turns from all the way in. When you have them all the way in, there is a stop here that it will run against. But when it's all the way in, the limb itself is actually going in so far, it's pivoting like this, and it's putting a pinch point on the riser, on the limbs. And I think that if you put it all the way in with it strung, you're going to put so much force on this outside edge of the tiller bolt that it's actually potentially going to bend the bolt itself. We looked at making precision tiller bolts for this actual bow, but they're using a 3/8 coarse thread, which really is not the proper thread to go into this bow for the loads that the tiller bolt sees and to keep the tiller bolt straight. The precision tiller bolts that we make, available on my website, jkaminski.com, are made out of 303 stainless. Because of the design of this bolt, we would have to go to 316 stainless to resist the bending, but it still doesn't fix the problem of the actual threads being incorrect for really what is needed to help align and keep these tiller bolts straight and to resist the actual forces that are exerted on the tiller bolt by limbs. So we decided to hold off on manufacturing them as of now. It doesn't really fix all of the issues in the actual bow, the bolt itself. It does help fix the size issue that you can see from time to time, as far as the outside diameter of the shank of the tiller bolt. When you have like a standard bolt or a standard bow that isn't this one turn is pretty much 1 turn across the board for the most part when it comes to most modern bows, because they all are metric pitch, actually 1.25, and this is much coarser. So 1 turn on this is moving your limbs way more than 1 turn on standard modern bows. So it's just something to kind of pay attention to. This is old school. This was used in very old bows, especially bolt together bows, takedown bows. But now that everybody's using ILF, everybody's gone to a much finer thread pitch, and this can cause some issues. And I've seen these bolts bent myself. So if you have one of these bows, you may want to just take the lock off, unlock your limbs, have your limbs out, spin your bolts in and out. Pay attention to them. Do they have any run out like that video that I showed you earlier? And if you do, you may want to reach out to the company. And Brian did, and they had bolts for him and said they'd never seen it before. But yeah, I don't know how many people spin their bolts in and out and pay attention to them if they're straight or not. Now, really quick, I am going to measure the outside diameter of the shank of the bolt with my caliper here. Set it to inches because that's kind of what the standard is for ILF. And the outside diameter is 369 thousandths of an inch. So it is very undersized. This should be somewhere in the 373 to 375 thousandths of an inch range. We may make these as precision tiller bolts for this bow because I know it's very popular. I know this bow is in high demand, especially for barebow shooters, obviously, and some trad shooters out there, hunters. And if you're interested in precision tiller bolts for these, comment below. Please let me know if you're interested, and if enough people comment down in there, we will get some of these made up so we can get them out there, maybe in a limited run for some people who are actually interested in picking up a set of these. I'm going to run a set of MXT XT foam limbs on this bow. Hopefully I'll be able to get the draw weight low enough, but if I take the limb, I put it in backwards, it literally falls in place and it wants to fall right out. So if you want to know more information about why this fit is important, in a nutshell, it'll lead to inconsistencies in your groups, left to right issues and stuff like that downrange. I have a link down in the description below and a card at the top up there to a video explaining to you about the importance of limb to riser fitment, the interface between the two, and how tight that fitting should be and why it's important. Instead of spending 20 minutes explaining it to you, you can just check out that other video that's dedicated to that. But what I wanted to show you really quick too was when you have the tiller bolt all the way in to, take it to its maximum limit out, you can see how the limb inside of there, it's really hard to see because of the pocket, but it's really only touching right here. It's not touching on the flat surface of the actual tiller bolt itself. 1, 2, about 3 full turns away from the stops would actually be the maximum in on the tiller bolt itself. Limb bolts, you can go out 6 turns from the bottom. So that's really simple. I'm glad that the company itself has that information posted on their website and not just in some manual, because I don't have a manual here, but it is a very simple reference point to go in from, or to go from. So I'm all the way in and I'm gonna go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 full turns, and I'm gonna do the same on the bottom. I'm gonna start with the lowest draw weight I can get on this bow itself, because I'd like to shoot as low draw weight as possible. And if I know I'm starting all the way out, then I know where my limit is and I can go in from there if needed. Yeah, I mean, the limbs go in and out easy because the fitment on the bolt is just so loose. It's really unfortunate because that's a very simple piece to machine and the tolerances really should be better. In their defense, there is no real standard out there as far as the ILF standard is concerned, as far as min and max. All right, right at 9 inches now, so I'm gonna leave it there and call that good. Oof. Cool. A lot of vibration in this thing. Might be a little loud until I throw a dampened barebow weight on there. I like how it has like a built-in bow stand. It's pretty cool. I'm going to use a known straight stabilizer to get my limbs aligned. If you're interested in learning why I do that, I'm going to recommend this book here. It's called Tuning for Performance. You can also check out my tuning series. I will have links down in the description below for Tuning for Performance to teach you how I set up and tune my bows, including my barebows. All right, and just like that, the bow is now aligned. The limbs are aligned to each other. They're also aligned in the center of the bow. The stabilizer's dead down the center. The string's dead down the center of the riser. And it's dead in the center of the biter block. So everything is perfect. It aligns super, super simple. Literally, I don't know, less than a minute, the bow is now perfect. Very simple. The only thing that worries me is the head was 3/32 of an inch, which is really small. It is a very small thread, so you can't get a bigger head on it. I just know that I have a tendency to over tighten things, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have the same issue. and it's very easy to round out the head of stuff that's this small. So just beware and be careful when you're tightening things. I like to know that my limbs aren't going to shift, so I'm pretty aggressive when it comes to my limb alignment. Okay, so now that I'm basically set up, I'm going to make sure my tiller is set, get a nocking point tied on it. So I'm going to get a baseline setup done, and then I'll take you outside and we'll get this thing tuned up at 30 meters. But overall, I'm very happy with the way the bow balances naturally just right out of the box. That is why they made this bow. So it is tailored made specifically for barebow balance. And that's why so many people like to use it around the world. And it has been proven to be very popular because of this. Supporting barebow is huge out there for the barebow community. And I really like shooting barebow myself. Can't wait to get out there and shoot. So I'm outside now. I got my bow preliminarily set up, the CD Archery WF25. And I put a new rest on it. I put the Benz Arrow rest here from Shopmasters. So I am going to be doing a review of this rest. And if you're interested in seeing that review, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below. That way you get notified when I upload it. I've got some weather incoming, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get this review done. I'm excited to shoot some arrows out of this. I've got my X10 set up. And I'm hoping I'll be close on a crawl. Sure sounds like a barebow, and it feels exactly what it sounds like. Sorry about taking so long on that one. I'm trying a new thumb rest on my tab. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I got to get that dialed in, got to get my anchor figured out. I think my nocking point or something's way off just based on the way this thing's flying. I am going to go shoot this at 50 meters. I'm going to shoot a 36 arrow round at 50 meters after this if I can get it in before the weather. However, I'm not going to spend the time to optimize my tune for 50 meters. I'm just going to get it close here at 30 and then go back to 50. I'm gonna move my thumb rest here. So what I mean by it feels exactly like it sounds, it's very, there's a lot of vibration. Large amplitude, high frequency, all of it. It's all there. It is very, very harsh, which is kind of what I expected, to be totally frank, because these bows, generally speaking, you know, listening to people shoot CD archery bows and, you know, barebows in general, they tend to sound very, very loud. There is no dampers on this bow. I don't even have limb savers on the bow. And it's just very, very loud. It aims well. It holds nice and steady because it's a pretty heavy bow to begin with. But it's not really a pleasure to shoot because it is so harsh. However, you know, with the dampened barebow weight rule where you can add dampers on your barebow, our dampened barebow weight from Kaminski Archery would work great on this. So I may go inside and grab one of those, probably the big boy, the 21 ouncer, and remove this weight from the bottom. It'll maintain some balance as well. Well, let's see, I moved my thumb rest some, see if it's a little more comfortable for me. I'm gonna bend it. right, so I'll definitely bump my plunger tension up some, but I want to get a rough idea as to what my tune is. Shoot one more flet shaft and then the bare shaft here at 30 meters. Yeah, I mean, the bow holds really, really well. I've got a quarter inch of negative tiller. I'm actually very, very happy with how it aims and how stable the bow feels at full draw. I think the balance like this with a stock Barebow, because this is how it comes, I didn't add weights or anything other than the weight that it came with. And it's really, really good, super steady, super stable. I'm very happy with it. So the bare shaft here, hopefully we'll hit the target. Probably should have shot this at 18. Whew, I almost hit my phone, old phone camera down there. Way, way weak, which is good because I'm hitting to the right anyway. Bump up my plunger tension. I am all the way out on my tiller bolts right now, so I don't know how close I'm going to get this tune. Maybe I'll have to go get some 410s. But I'm going to go down and get them and continue shooting. I'll move the camera around to different views so you can see the bow from different angles. But like I said, I'm really happy with how it aims. I'm really happy with how stable it is. But there is a lot to be desired on the aftershot reaction. Yes, barebows typically tend to be very harsh and very loud. However, some of the barebows that I have been shooting, not really recently, but I have shot in the past, like the Barebow Mican and the ATF DX from Win & Win, that is definitely something that has much less vibration. Same with the Barebow Mican. Now the ATF DX has built-in dampers. The Barebow Mican has no built-in dampers, and it feels dramatically better vibration-wise than this CD Archery WF25. So yes, I know the new ones have some built-in dampers, but I don't think it's really going to take out that much in the way of the actual vibration. Limb savers would make a huge difference on this bow. I'm going to go get them, move the camera, keep shooting, get this bow dialed in, and get back to 50. Really hoping I can get in some shooting with this thing tuned before it rains, or before the lightning gets too close. Flying much better already. Left and right's pretty decent. Whew. Trying to get used to that thumb rest. Starting to hit left. I'm gonna make sure my string alignment's good. Must have been off. Okay, and the bare shaft. All right, I gotta go get the 410s because clearly these aren't gonna work. Okay, so now I have my 410X10s. Bump my knocking point even more. I got two different color fletchings here, one orange, some orange and some white of the Wave Pros, but they're fletched the same offset. Slightly different, but basically the same. they're flying much, much better than the 450s. I think because I'm shooting slightly higher draw weight, because this is a 25-inch riser, I've been shooting 27-inch risers for Barebow, and my draw length somewhere in the neighborhood of 29 inches with a recurve. So I really think once you're up over that 28-inch draw length, a 27-inch riser and long limbs is where it's at. All right, let's shoot a bare shaft, see where it goes. Much closer. Still a little on the weak side, which is surprising. So I think that their 6 turns out maximum, I don't know what that is limited by, but the way that the pocket is sitting and the way that the limb is pressing on the limb bolt, I'd say it should be able to go out way further than that. However, maybe it is due to the thread pitch of the bolt that they use that they're saying that this is a maximum amount out. I don't think that the geometry, quote unquote, is standard in the angle of the limb bolt or the angle of the pocket. I think it's a much more aggressive, like preloaded pocket. And I did a little bit of measurement with the tiller bolt angle, and it's about 5 degrees less per side than most standard bows. Most standard bows are somewhere in the 15 to 16 degree range. If I remember correctly, this one was somewhere in the 10 degree range, and that's measuring kind of straight out from this angle here, vertical, the riser sitting vertical. Where is the angle of the bolt on the actual tiller bolt? I don't know how much in the way of geometry-wise homework was done on the bow, because it just seems like the pocket angle, the limb angle, is a little bit steeper, more vertical than laid back. And I think my draw weight's much higher than what I would want it to be, just guessing based on the tune of these arrows, because I should not be weak with these 410s, not even remotely close. Not with the limbs all the way out at least, because these are only 42 longs. You know, the arrows fly pretty good, so I might just call it good enough for at least the sake of this video. As far as the tune is concerned, and take you back to 50 meters so I can get a scoring round done before the skies open up here. Whew. It's definitely heavier of a draw weight than I'd want. Much, much heavier than what I would want. Yeah, so pretty consistent, slightly knock low, definitely weak. Sure holds good though, I like it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to walk back to 50 meters. I don't know if you can see you probably can see the tripod back there at the 50 meter line. And I'm gonna get my crawl down, shoot 2 ends for practice, and then shoot a 36 arrow round for score here with this CD Archery WF25 riser. I'm about 40 meters or so here. I'd say that's good. Let's go back to 50. Okay, back at 50 here. Yeah, this is gonna be a great spot to crawl to. My screw in the way, of course, although maybe it'll be perfect, who knows. Nope, too low. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot one more end to practice because I'm gonna count those 5 arrows as the first end. And I'm very happy with finding the crawl that quickly. And I'm actually just kind of eyeballing it because I've got this screw here that sticks out from the tab quite a considerable amount. And that's right where I need to be crawling to. So it's pretty much impossible to actually crawl with this tab at the moment. I just threw it together for a bit of a experiment to see what I like or would like with a Barebow tab. So definitely got some stuff to improve on, especially when it comes to the actual hardware on the tab and such, but the idea so far I'm liking a lot. That screw just needs to be replaced or recessed. So anyway, I'm gonna go get him, shoot the second end for practice, then get into scoring. Knew it was going left when I let it go. I don't know why. Torquing the bow or something funny. Just, I knew it right when I let it go. I think that's good enough. I mean, my crawl is as good as it's gonna get at this point. I got a slightly left group, so I took a couple clicks off the button. And I think that's good enough to start scoring next end. So it's the first 50-meter scoring round with a Barebow in a considerable amount of time. So I'm excited to see what kind of score I end up with here with this CD Archery WF25 riser. Go get him. First end for score. Tab felt funny in my hand. My finger was actually kind of hanging off the bottom of the tab face, so must have did something weird after the crawl or with my hook. About either 52 or 53 depending on that low right 9/8 liner. I'm going to go down and check and verify, and I'll let you know what I shot either through the scope or after I come back, depending on if there's a line call or not. That was in fact a 52. After I shoot this end, I got to see where the lightning is. Sounds like it's getting closer. I think after this end too, I'm going to pull that weight off the bottom and throw a dampened Barebow weight on. I got a 21 ounce in my quiver. See if I can get some of this vibration out of this bow. Trying to manage the thumb rest as best as I can, and tried to regroup on that one just to see how it would go. Got a little work to do there. Pushing on the thumb feels so weird. Seven, 8, 9, 10, maybe a 50 or a 49 there on that one. I'm gonna go get them, pull that weight off, check the radar, and see if I can continue shooting. That 7/8 liner was a 7, so it was a 50 on that end, and the lightning is definitely moving close. So I don't know how many arrows I'm gonna be able to get in here. I'm gonna try to get the rest of this round in, but with the way it's going, this could be the last end. We just do not mess around with lightning here in Florida, but I did want to at least get one end here with this Kaminski Archery dampened Barebow weight. I'm going to put the 21 ounce in the main stabilizer bushing. I'll verify that a Barebow ring passes over it, but sure looks like it will without any problem at all. And with that weight in the front, the bow balances pretty nice and vertical. It's a little bit heavier. I think that other slug that I took out, yeah, this might be it. Oh yeah, that's much quieter now. Now all I need is a set of limb savers and this thing would be much better. That big, large amplitude vibration is gone. Still on the loud side. I think it's because of the pocket angles. Oh, it feels so much better though. Didn't quite get to the grip or the thumb shelf on that one. Jumped the game a bit, unfortunately. All right, looks like possibly a 54 on that one. Go down and get them, see if I can speed this up. So unfortunately, we're within like 5 miles of lightning and it is continuing to move this way. I'm just not gonna have enough time to shoot 36 arrows. So I'm gonna end the camera now, end the round now. I'll take it inside and we'll do a bit of a summary in there about this WF25 riser from CD. Well, the air conditioning sure feels nice, and according to the Lightning app, we are now 2.4 miles away. So, and incoming, and in the area there's in excess of 1,500 strikes within like the greater area that I live in. So I think it's a good thing that I came inside. It'll probably be storming for quite some time, but I did shoot this bow enough to kind of get a good idea as to how it feels. Now, I do want to know what the draw weight is because, man, does it just feel heavy. It's going to be somewhere in that range. Yeah, 45.5 pounds, give or take. Yeah, 45.5 pounds. So, it's surprising to see that my 410s were even, you know, like this weak at 30 meters. So I don't know what it is exactly, but like I said, I think that pocket angle is just a little steep, and if the threads were worked a little differently and maybe the design was a little bit different, we'd be able to get the tiller bolts out much further, because right here there's just not much daylight between the tiller bolt head and the limb surface. And this is the maximum out position. Maybe this one. This is the max out position because the top one I had to bring in to get my tiller correct. But you can see there's not much daylight there. Not compared to what many bows, like, let me show you, the Exceed. There's just way more daylight there between the tiller bolt and the limb. And these are for sure not out all the way. These are about 4 turns out. I can go another 2 full turns on this limb bolt, and there's still more daylight by almost 50% compared to the CD riser. So I'll have to look at it and see what's going on with the actual geometry and the pocket angle like I was talking about. It just doesn't seem right. It seems like it's a little bit too on the like preloaded, too vertical of a limb bolt position. Now the my bow Mican was the opposite. It's too far out. So at least compared to like a standard Earl Hoyt type geometry. But besides that being the issue and my tune just not quite making sense for some reason, the bow aims really, really well. And it is very stable because of the balance of the bow with these huge chunks out towards the ends of the riser. It just feels very pleasant, actually. And, you know, it did have a fair bit of vibration, so I wasn't a huge fan of the amount of vibration that is in the system when you shoot. It's just very harsh. It sounds like a barebow, and it feels like barebows sound in general, at least old school barebows. And although putting the Kaminski Archery dampened barebow weight on here made a massive difference in the way the bow felt. Immediately a reduction in the vibration. I didn't feel any of the vibration, but I could still hear a fairly loud punchy hit on the moment of letting it go, but the residual vibration's completely gone. So I'm happy with that. And as far as fitting through the barebow ring with that weight on, absolutely no problem at all. So let's talk about what I like about this CD Archery WF25 riser. I like the way the bow aims. I like the balance. I like the way the bow feels when at full draw. I also like that it is barebow specific. It's got a lot of weight out by the pocket ends, and the bow just is overall really, really pleasant to be at full draw with. It's very steady, very calm, not very jittery, and I like it a lot. I do also like how easy the bow set up. My alignment was super, super easy, and I was very happy to just get it done in basically a minute. So I'm very happy with that. And, you know, it is barebow specific, so it's very nice to have a specific bow, specific riser built for this class, because it gives you a bit of the benefits of this extra mass where you normally wouldn't have it, and then you don't really need a ton of added weight in the end. Now, as far as stuff that I think could be improved upon would be things like the threads in the tiller bolts. Not super thrilled about that as far as it being coarse, 3/8 coarse. 3/8 fine would have been more acceptable, but 3/8 coarse definitely could use better threads there. The tiller bolts were massively undersized at 369 thousandths of an inch, and I believe the pocket angle is a little steep this direction. I am getting a little bit more draw weight out of this bow than what I would hope to, at least in the all the way out configuration according to what the manufacturer states. I wish they had stops all the way in that didn't allow you to go in too far. You know, telling you how far to go out is great, but what is the minimum amount out as well, which I believe is somewhere in that 4 turn range, 3 to 4 turn range minimum out, maximum 6. So you're not getting a whole lot of range of adjustment in the actual tiller bolts. For whatever reason, the way the bow is designed, it's just what it is. The hardware for the limb alignment is a little on the small side. There are no locks. I could add threaded grub screws to additionally lock what's already there. But I just feel like I'm a little scared to tighten them enough, at least to the level of where I think it should be tightened. Hasn't moved on me, so it is what it is. The residual vibration, there's definitely a lot to be desired there. Like I said, I've shot other barebow risers. One is the Barebow Mican, way more vibration dampening, or damping. It's just more of a pleasure to actually release the string and let the bow, let the string go. It feels much better. This is very harsh, but I did take the stock weight out of the bottom and added the dampened Barebow weight, and that dramatically fixed any of the residual vibration, and it quieted the bow down a considerable amount, minus that first initial punch, of course. Other than that, I mean, I wouldn't say there was anything that I really strongly disliked about the bow. I think that the amount of weight on the bow is going to really limit what type of shooter can use this, because you got to be relatively strong to be able to hold this thing up. I know there's a light version that has kind of these pocket areas hollowed out here for women, children, or those that need lighter mass weight. But yeah, I think that the popularity is there because it is Barebow specific. They were one of the first to support Barebow and the class of Barebow, wholeheartedly. And they did a good job. The bow feels quite good for what it is. It is a little bit older as far as the design is concerned, and some of the newer ones have those vibration dampers in the pockets and things like that, and you can check those out, but I don't think it's going to take out as much vibration as this thing here, the dampened Barebow weight. It'll take out a good amount of high frequency vibration. The harmonic dampers that come on those new CD Archery Risers, but I don't think it's going to kill a massive amount of that shock in the hand. It's really nice. I didn't point this out, but it is something that's really important. It's really nice to have a lot of rest clearance, meaning from where the plunger is down to the shelf, there's a huge amount of clearance here. So I can shoot big feathers indoors, big fat arrows, and have plenty of clearance and not have any issues there. I can also run the sniper drop away or anything else like that, maybe the Gilo drop away, and it works and it will clear just fine. Where some of the other risers, you're not seeing that ability to have that much clearance here. So that portion or that part of this system is very, very nice. So overall, I would say the CD Archery WF25X, I don't know, WFX, I don't know, whatever it is, WF25 big X, I like it. The thing aims well, it holds well. I really just wish it had a little bit less shock in the hand, but I mean, that's what Barebows kind of are. They're a little harsh. They're definitely not Olympic style recurves, but I still like it a lot. Like I said, if you're interested in grabbing one of these, please check out the links down in the description below. Those are affiliate links. Genuinely, that helps this channel out when you click those links before you shop there. This is an unbiased review. I don't have any sponsorships, proudly, and I keep it that way so I can give you honest feedback on the gear that I do test on this channel. And remember, if you're interested in seeing my review of this Ben's Arrow Rest here from the Shopmaster's Ben's Arrow Rest, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell down below. That review will be coming up shortly.